Welcome back to SwitchCorner. My name is Alex and today we're going to be taking a look at Nightbook. This is the latest release from Wales Interactive. It's a horror focused FMV, but is this one going to be worth it for genre fans and horror fans, or does it maybe do just enough that it may be worth a look for everyone else as well? Well, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we will do here. Join our growing family and let's get started. So story, and here we have a tale that centres around the character of Loralyn. She works the night shift and her role an interpreter that remotely translates calls in French or Canard to English. Canard being an ancient dying language that plays kind of a predominant focus in this game. Loralyn, though, she's pregnant, her husband is leading a resort construction project abroad, and she's also caring at the same time for her mentally ill father who stays at her home. The game, it touts itself as being an occult thriller, but it's very much a horror, this one, playing with themes of possession, suicide and demons, and the game, it does feature a warning of this the second things loads up. This one, though, it's actually from the team behind The Complex and 5 Dates, the first being a science fiction like experience around an attack in London, and the second a surprisingly light-hearted and entertaining look at dating during quarantine. I think first off it's worth telling you, like, I did not see everything the game has to offer. They are designed to provide a different experience each and every time you play through. In my first playthrough, in fact, I encountered 44 scenes. In the second, around 50. Now, to give you an idea of just how varied your path can be in this world, that is from a total of 223 scenes contained within the game, which makes these games also very difficult to judge. My first playthrough, though, honestly, the ending, it was a little abrupt and underwhelming in its resolution, but I could see where I almost, went wrong. The second, a whole lot more developed and even featured additional characters. The acting, though, overall good stuff and really impressed. Perhaps I'd say it's up there with some of Wales Interactive's best work yet, and well, yes, it for sure has a B-movie charm to it all. Found the majority of the cast here likeable. Our lead's performance, especially Julie Dre of Avenue 5 fame, that was particularly strong, and its use then of multiple languages, English, French and the game's own Canard, was absolutely intriguing. Now, did it have its weak moments and overacting in its story? Absolutely, for sure, but it balanced a fine line between intrigue and scares that I enjoyed. It never felt like it fell back on the idea of, jump scares. It would rather keep you tense the entire way through. Now, I can absolutely see, though, why they tagged it as thriller over horror, because if you like a good almost mystery, then this one, it may well be worth a look. As Wales Interactive, they continue to push to bring FMVs back to the masses. So gameplay on this is going to be quick. It's the typical FMV approach, meaning interactive movie, and the concept here is simple. You watch the movie, you see two options presented on screen, you choose what will be best, or at least what you think will be best for our lead into, what the outcome of that next scene will be. While it's not exactly brimming with gameplay, these are good fun, and I've been a fan of the genre since the days of Night Trap, and they are particularly fun in a group environment with friends and family. These moments, these decisions, they are actually timed, driving some level of urgency on the player, but it's worth knowing in the options, it has what it calls a streamer option. Good idea, weak name, because this will also be good for large groups as it removes kind of the timer and gives you time to actually think about it, discuss, kind of freak out a little bit and then make your decision. Outside of that, though, the movie, I'd say it lasted roughly 80 minutes for me, but there's a whole lot to go back for, and while I don't want to even hint at spoilers, the game will give you a summary of how you did at the end. Now, some of these features I won't mention, it gives way too much away, but I can at least tell you this, 15 endings to uncover. I made on average 42 decisions, and I had close then to 200 scenes still to uncover, and trust me, the second I saw this, I jumped in again for round 2. Visuals and audio, then we're going to be combining into one for this one because it's pre-recorded video, so it's not like I can talk about, let's say, graphical skill. What did impress, though, was the overall presentation. The concept here is the husband, as I said, is away. Somewhat creepily, though, he installed security to keep his family safe. These security cameras, though, we're seeing them through a desktop of a computer. So think we've got camera windows open alongside things like emails and Skype as well. Now granted, look, dependent on the decisions you make, you may see less or even more than I did myself. The first playthrough, it was almost somber. The second saw though more visual effects in use, they came into play, and while I wouldn't say they were perfect and clearly very much fake, I think given the price point of the title, I'd say like B-movie style level, that's probably the best description, but they delivered the necessary reaction expected. The acting though in these moments for the most part thankfully absolutely carries it. Likewise in the music and the audio, what's impressive about this project is, my understanding is thanks to quarantine restrictions, there was no crew. Each member of the cast involved, they set everything up themselves, from the environments, you know, the objects around them, to no doubt the equipment they use, like the microphones. The quality with that in mind was impressive. Each location felt real, the audio was top quality, and I was actually sitting there asking myself, is this just their personal homes and they've converted it for this recording? Actually kind of bugged me as well. Really want to know the answer to that question. Finally, the music, it goes more for a tone than I guess actual rhythm, and that makes sense, you know, it's a horror experience. It for sure sets the mood as you uncover truths. It adds suspense, you know, as you discuss and see the situation escalate, it's very much matching what you would expect. It has this good balance of laying on the intensity, then kind of pulling it back just to give you that moment of downtime before, I mean, the next time the game wants you, of course, to like freak out alongside these characters. So the final verdict, and I was impressed. I've always been a fan of horror, and particularly the more cheesy kind of B-movie-esque vibe, and that's not in disrespect to Wales Interactive or the cast involved, but rather just the storyline. It's a cult-esque theme, it's old school, and I appreciate that. But that said, the rating is still solid with some great performances throughout. You care about the characters, and then the overall theme, it's not generic horror. They really set out to give us something that's just a little more involved than most. And again, I see why they went for the thriller tag over horror, to not potentially, you know, sell themselves, or the audience at least, short on what to expect. I liked it though, it was fun, the concept was entertaining, the characters, as I said, they were likeable, and I jumped in for a second playthrough, even started a third as I was sitting there getting this video ready, and no doubt hitting that play button again, you know, that's probably the biggest compliment I can give this one, and I can't wait now to see where they go next, because I'm a big fan of Wales Interactive. They have the occasional miss. I see Black Cloud's their most recent effort before this one. That was a little weak, honestly, but games like Complex, 5 Dates, Late Shift, all great efforts, and this is just another one to add to their list of respectable entries to the genre, and a good 7 out of 10 from me. For some though, it's small locations, visual effects, they may push beyond the barrier of believable, clearly from quarantine though, and of course as well, like budget constraints, but look past that and you're going to have a good time if you do like your horror, even like a cult kind of thriller vibe. Will you be adding this one to the library though, or are you holding onto that cash? Now I have a lot to uncover still. I have every intention now of going back. With that though, like a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. If you do want to check that out for yourself, I have linked it in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.